Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to change emotional state step by step and pretty much sharing with you everything that I wish I knew sooner. So the main premise for this topic, I could go in a few different directions with this, but I basically just want to share with you everything that I wish I had known in the past when going through depression, anxiety, anger, resentment. All of the above. And in the past, I didn't know anything about emotional states or that you can actually change them pretty easily once you understand where emotions come from and also how your body position and your body posture literally affect your emotions. So we're going to be using a combination of both your body positioning and also where you place your mental attention, and by shifting that attention to focus on something else. So when you do both of these things together, you literally can impact your emotions, and you can take yourself from a negative emotional state into a more positive or at least neutral state very quickly and easily. So yeah, we're going to be diving into all of this in this video. I hope that sounds good. So if you're excited to learn how to change your emotional state, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and also hit that like button. So I have broken this down into very straightforward steps. So let's dive into those now. Step number one is to identify what emotional state you are feeling. So is it depression? Is it stress? Is it worry? Is it anxiety? Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it confusion? Is it helplessness? Whatever it is. So step number one is just to identify what emotion you are truly feeling and to just become aware of that exact emotion that you're feeling. So identify it. Step number one. Step number two is to remind yourself that it's your brain that is creating this emotion. Your brain is causing you to have this mental and physical response. And so step two is to just simply remind yourself that your brain is creating this emotion for you automatically and that it's actually happening on autopilot. Step three is to disassociate yourself from that emotion. So now that you've already reminded yourself that it's your brain that is causing you to feel this emotion, this step is all about detaching yourself from the emotion, intentionally detaching yourself from it. So if you think about it, you are not that negative emotional state. You aren't anxiety, you aren't stress, you aren't depression, you aren't anger. And so you want to think of the emotion as a separate entity. There's you, and then there's the emotion that you're experiencing, and they aren't one and the same. You weren't born stressed. You weren't born anxious. And so there's who you truly are. And so it's really all about taking a step back and taking a pause and really viewing that emotion from a third-party perspective. And so step three is all about really disassociating yourself from the emotion and detaching yourself from it. Now that you've detached from the emotion, step number four is to shift your attention to something that brings you joy, gratitude, or love. So the reason that we want to shift our attention to joy, gratitude, or love is because when you're feeling those positive emotions, it's actually impossible for you to experience a negative emotional state simultaneously. When you feel joy or when you feel gratitude or when you're really feeling love, the brain can't also make you feel stressed or anxious or worried at that same time. So this is all part of the formula for shifting your attention into a more positive emotional state. So what I really would like to encourage you to do is to actually think of this ahead of time. Start to think right now, what do you want to shift your attention to anytime you're in a negative emotional state and you're wanting to really work through it to help move yourself out of it. So some examples are, if you want to feel joy, maybe you feel joy when you think about your pet, your dog or your cat or your hamster, whatever it is. Maybe you feel joy when you think about your kids, or you feel love, or when you think about your spouse or your grandkids or your nieces and nephews. Or maybe you just get a lot of joy when you watch a certain TV show. Maybe it makes you laugh, or maybe you really love a certain video game. It really doesn't matter what it is. Anything that can just makes you, smile on the inside when you think about it. And so if you're having a hard time thinking of something that brings you joy or love, then I want you to focus on gratitude instead. We all have something to be grateful for, whether that would be clean water or just the fact that you have shelter, you have a safe place to live, or maybe just the fact that your lungs are breathing and that you have clean air to breathe, or that you're just alive at all. These are all things to also just be grateful for. So come up with something right now, and I just encourage you to maybe even write it in the notes on your phone, because if you have it written down, you'll be able to more easily remember it when it's time for you to shift your attention and help yourself move out of that negative emotional state. So you can even, if you're feeling that negative emotional state and you don't remember what it is, you can just open up your phone and there's your reminder of what to think about. Okay, so step number 4 is to shift your attention to something that brings you joy, gratitude, or love. Step number 5 is to change your physical state. So this is all about your body posture. Neuroscience research shows that changing your body positioning also has an impact on your emotions. So the way that your body posture is throughout the day is actually impacting how you're feeling every single day. So the type of state that we want to make is one that is open, relaxed, and occupies space. Because when we change our physical state, we can change our emotions. So you can do this either standing up or sitting down. If you're standing up, you want to have your legs, hip width distance apart, and put your hands out on your hips and stand up really tall and just focus on your breathing. Really focus on the inhale and the exhale for about 2 minutes. And when you stand like this and breathe like this for about 2 minutes, research shows that this actually increases testosterone levels and decreases cortisone levels in the body, which means that you feel more confident and relaxed. If you can't do this standing up, you can also do this sitting down. So if you're sitting, just plant your feet flat on the floor and sit up really tall and put your hands on your hips and just do the same thing. Breathe for about 2 minutes and you will feel more relaxed and more confident. So the whole purpose of this is to have an impact on our emotions by changing the state of our bodies. On top of changing your posture, another thing that you can do is smile. When you intentionally smile, this sends a signal to your brain, which then produces a powerful chemical reaction, which leads to you feeling much better. So when you smile, you're essentially tricking your mind into thinking that you feel better than you actually do. And the reason that this works is because when you smile, your brain isn't bothering to sort out whether you're genuinely happy or whether you're just pretending. The brain doesn't really care. It just automatically gives you the chemical response, which leads to you having lower stress levels, and it also ends up lowering your heart rate. So on top of changing your body posture, you also want to smile, because then you're getting that dual effect between your brain sending you more testosterone and decreasing your cortisol, and then also with the smiling, it's decreasing your stress levels at the same time. Okay, now there's one more step left after this, but first let's just do a really quick recap of all of the steps that we've covered so far. So step 1 is to identify what the negative emotion is. Step number 2 is to remind yourself that it's your brain giving you that emotional response. Step number 3 is to disassociate and detach yourself from the emotion. Step number 4 is to shift your attention to something that brings you joy, gratitude, or love. Step number 5 is to change your physical state. Do that power pose and smile for about 2 to 5 minutes while you focus on your breathing. And that now brings us to step number 6, which is to choose how you want to feel. You now get to choose what emotion you want to have. So what is that? Do you want to feel anxious, or do you want to instead feel relaxed? Or do you want to feel stress-free? Or do you want to feel happy? Or do you want to feel confident or content or just carefree, free-spirited? Whatever that is, you get to decide. We have the power of choice. And so just as kids, we weren't taught that we get to choose what our emotions are, now you know that you actually get to decide. And so you don't have to stay stuck in that negative emotional state. You can actually decide how you want to feel and move yourself out of it. If you found these steps helpful, then go ahead and click the link in the description box below, because I put together a free PDF cheat sheet where I've summarized all of the different steps that we just covered in this video on how to change your emotional state. And I recommend that you even maybe save this on your phone somewhere so that you can easily reference it anytime that you need to. If you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and please subscribe to my channel. And if it helped you in any way, please hit the like button. If you want to learn more about how to control your emotions, make sure you check out my other videos, which I will link up over here. Remember, you can transform your mind and your life. I believe in you, and I'll see you in the next one.